What's up, everybody? It's Len here, the Potter Stacker, and today we are going to talk about how to grade toners. This is something that within the coin community is even people who are experienced numismatists have difficulty grading toned coins. And so, oh, here comes Sasha. And so I want to demystify this process a little bit for you. And so I hope you'll stick around and hang out. And if you aren't subscribed, I hope that today is the day I earn your subscription. And if you enjoy this kind of video, please take that like button and pretend that it is the best, greatest, cutest dog you know. Scratch it under the chin, scratch it behind its ears, and let's get into the video. Sasha, what's all over your face? Hey, what's all over your face? That's snow? Hey, that's snow. That's snow. Let's see your snow face. You like to eat the snow, don't ya? That's because you're the best of girls. Okay, everybody, so I have a myriad of toned coins here. Not all of them are toned, but different degrees, different kinds of toning, and I want to talk a little bit about each and every one of them. I kind of talked about this on one of my live streams, but it seems like there may be a bit of a fad to toning, that it's possible that, which I hope is not true, but it's entirely possible that there's like a bubble, right? There's a toner bubble. People are paying big money for toners, sometimes 2 to 3 times gray sheet for a toned coin. And the question is why? Well, I've said this in videos before, but I think it bears repeating. The value of a coin, which you will often find in a book not unlike this one, is usually based on 2 things: condition and rarity, right? So there's absolute rarity, which is the gross number of any coin that is made. And let's just randomly turn here to a 2008 S Alaska. There was only 2 million of those minted versus the Denver mint of the same coin, 254 million. So obviously 254 million is a huge number, and that's why you get a pretty massive price difference on the value of these coins. So you have absolute rarity, you have conditional rarity. In other words, you could have a very common coin that maybe has a low population of a certain condition, right? So you might have a very common 1885 Morgan dollar, but maybe there's only like 100 that are graded MS68, right? That would give you conditional rarity, but even though there's not absolute rarity. So then the toning adds another layer, right? Because this is a common date Morgan dollar that has a special condition that makes this coin truly one of a kind. There is not another one here. There's not another one in the world like this. Toners are like snowflakes. So I want to talk about toning and how to grade these things, because one thing that, if you watch this video, you know that I collect mint sets and proof sets. I crack them open, break them open, and I handle a lot of like mint state coins. And that's important because although I did not intend for this to happen, what has kind of happened by proxy is that I have learned to recognize what original mint luster looks like. So I want to get into that real quick. So there's several levels of toning, right? There is, like, this is 3/9 fine silver bullion, and I don't know if it was an ender and a roll or something like that, but it has this target toning that's kind of this, almost like a peach color, right? Very interesting pattern, not the most spectacular coloring. It's almost like a rose gold, right? But still very, very interesting. That's a very attractive toning, right? And then you have this 1893, this Columbus commemorative $50, second year of release. And I don't know if you would call this attractive toning. So that might even border on environmental damage, depending on who's looking at that, right? So then there is almost like I don't know what you would call this kind of toning. It's certainly not attractive. This is a coin that was probably fairly well circulated, and to me it even looks polished, right? But it's kind of, it almost looks like someone put cigarettes out on it or something. So how do we grade these? That's the question, right? Well, the first thing that you want to look for is luster. Because I have a couple of graded coins here, I want to talk about this MS63 Morgan dollar. Why was this graded an MS63? So here's one of the first things when you look at, sorry, let me get that in frame here. One of the very first things when you're reading about in coin grading guides, when you're looking at mint state coins, it says luster is original. So you know the secret, guys. You know the drill. You turn it and you look at the luster. Does it have that cartwheel, and are there breaks in it? You have to look at the heat map on these, and what are the high points of this? Well, we know certainly the cheek, right? The cheek, the hair above the ears, the little thingamajiggy there. Those are all high points. Do you see any breaks in the luster when you cartwheel this through? No, you don't. But what's a little bit tricky there, and here, let me grab a pencil so I can point things out a little more. So let's get really exact here. What can confuse people is when you see like these marks, like what in here is damage on the coin and what is toning? Like, see that kind of break in the blue there? Well, you see how the luster goes over that? That's the toning. That's the toning. She has chatter on her cheeks, and that's okay. She's an MS63. An MS63 allows for contact marks that are lighter and less concentrated. So like this kind of like mark behind her head, when you tilt it and make the light go through it, you can see that there's not a break in the luster. So you almost have to look at toning as like you have to look through it. You have to look beyond it, and you almost have to pretend as if it isn't there, which is really difficult. Let me give you what might be actually a little bit better example of what I'm talking about here. This 1958 Benji, are these little things? Are these contact marks? Well, let's just test it with the luster. No, you don't see breaks in the luster there. See how that cartwheels naturally? So that is the toning. That's just the way that coin happened to tone. And it's really important to realize that difference. And I'm looking here under America to the right of the bell where some of those, like, I guess, freckle marks are. You see that? There is no break in the luster, because luster goes away from wear. The lack of luster is the first sign that you have wear in a coin, because you can have cheek chatter. You can have cheek chatter where coins have banged up against, Morgan's face here, but it doesn't break. There's nothing like rubbed on it that wore off the space, right? So, and when you look at clad coins, and I grabbed this one because this is an MS65, it's the same thing. On clad, on copper, on any kind of coin, you're looking for breaks in the luster. And here we would be looking for it on the cow's nose, forehead, eye, and ear there. You'd be looking for it in the corn and in the cheese there, as well as across the forward ribbon, and you don't see the break in luster. So this is all you have to do, guys. Anytime you're looking for wear on a coin, use the luster. This is another one that might be a little bit tricky, right? Because it almost looks like like, it almost looks like this was done with a paintbrush, almost like someone took stain to it or something, like they were staining wood. But you just have to look how the light goes over that. There is no loss of luster. This coin might be like an MS66, MS67. And even though it's not the most attractive toning in the eyes of some, I mean, here's another great example back here. Like I said, this almost looks like it was, you know, this is, and by the way, this is how you can tell original toning and original coins from fake toned coins, right? Is the, you know, nobody would do this. Nobody would deliberately make a coin look like this. There are people who would say that this is not attractive. Let me show you my favorite toned coin, and I've shown this on several videos now, but look at this beautiful Roosevelt dime with the rainbow bullseye toning. We're looking for the same things here. We're looking for the wear in the hair above the ear, the hair kind of parallel with the forehead right below the part here, and we're just looking. Now, obviously, this was out of a 1957 mint set. There's not going to be wear on this one. So let's look at this one, which we know has wear on it. See how flat that is? Now, when you see the flatness and the lack of luster here, right? This is a lackluster coin, right? Now, the wear marks start to stand out, because you start to see like a flattening, right? Like in the breast feathers here, and the tips of the wings there, and even how the stars. See, look at how those stars are they're flat. It's almost like I don't know. Now this, I find this coin to be like one of the a very, very cool coin, but the wear is really easy to detect here. But it's only easy to detect because of the lack of luster. There's a little bit of luster, and that's the thing. Where does the luster break? Where is the luster breaking? So you have to see through that toning. I hope I'm making sense with it. This is a tricky one. Commemoratives as a whole, people tend to be intimidated by, myself included, because there are literally no guides anywhere on how to grade a commemorative half dollar of any year. If you found one, please leave comments below and tell me where it is. But do you see how this one has cartwheeling? So I don't think this is environmentally damaged. This is just really, really toned up. So see the luster? It's poor. It's a poor luster, right? Like MS60, the luster says that that it's good. It says that it has good luster. Well, what is good? What is good luster? Well, by comparison, does it have the luster of this MS63? Well, we gotta say no. It really doesn't, right? So now I'm looking for places where there's a break in the luster. And on this coin, I'm gonna be looking on the cheek here, the forehead, and the hair. And you can see where the hair meets the forehead, the luster breaks just ever so much. This might be an AU kind of coin, but it's probably a fairly high AU, because when we look at the reverse here, look at how you still see all the line details in the sails, which is great. One of the nicest boats on any US coin. And on the globes here, you see the lines as well. And again, where's the break in the luster on the reverse? I am struggling to spot it, right? But you do have that cartwheel effect happening. So let me see here. What's another one that I can talk about? Let's talk about this Seated Liberty quarter. Obviously, this is a toned coin that we would say is probably the result of circulation. I won this at the raffle in my coin club, so that's cool. Always always cool to get a free SLQ. But we're going to look at the elements of where, right there. See how the luster breaks right here over her shield and over her breast and across her leg. So that's all I'm looking for, guys. That's, like I said, you just have to look at this tone as like a layer of film. I thought I brought out my Bugs Bunny. Let's see. I did. Okay, here's a Bugs Bunny that has a little bit of edge toning here that I think I graded this one when I did my how to grade Benjamin Franklin half dollars. But look, I mean, this one has, I don't know, 20% of the original mint luster, and I can compare this to any. You see the difference? You see how flat the 55 looks compared to the 57? I'm trying not to get the light directly in it, right? But I mean, this one just looks like it's flat, like you're looking at a sidewalk almost, right? So those are the kind of things that we're looking for when you grade toners, guys. So one thing that I would encourage you to do is, if you have mint sets and you have proof sets, if you have, I know some people are really, it upsets them to break them open. And but if you have a common date, just crack some open and just give them a good look. Or if you have more mint state of anything slabbed, just examine that and look at the guides. These guides are online. There's printed versions everywhere. And just see what is the standard here. So get used to understanding and looking at what original mint luster looks like, and compare that then to the coin that you're looking at. Where'd I put that Bugs Bunny? There it is, right? So I mean, and once you do that, that'll really help you to really start understanding. I mean, look, that's obvious, right? I mean, obviously you have two heavily circulated coins, but now let's make it a little tricky here. Let's put Columbus up there. Oh, wait a second. I mean, it's weird because it's like black paint, there's luster there. See how there's cartwheeling there that this doesn't have. So just start to look at that kind of stuff, guys. That's all I want to say about it. I hope that's helpful. I know that this isn't necessarily like a, really this is my opinion, right? I'm just kind of sharing with you what my thought process is. Because people might look at this and be really caught up on eye appeal. Well, it doesn't have great eye appeal because it doesn't have attractive toning. Well, says who? Says who, right? I think this toning is pretty unique. And you can tell it has plenty of original mint luster. And by the way, this came out of a mint set. So we know that it's a mint state coin, right? So we can grade it as such, right? And let the beauty be in the eye of the beholder. Don't let how you feel it's a toner looks. Don't let your emotions take over reality, right? Like someone might look at this and say, "Oh, this has huge. Look at the eye appeal on this." And if this were raw, someone might grade this an MS65 because that's what they wish it was. But we deal in reality as coin dealers. That's why we have the grading system, as imperfect as it is. It's what we got, and we should do our best to work within it. So that's all I got for tonight, guys. And I'll say again, if you enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe and take that like button and pretend it's a cute little kitten that's about to fall asleep and pet it until it starts purring. And we'll see you on the next one.